meteor crater site. It was $15 to get in. It's privately operated, so we will check it out.
Hello.
Hello.
Basically blew the top off the meteorite and scattered pieces all around. It's the largest piece, and this one is thrown about 2 miles west of here over in Canyon Diablo. And that's a pretty good throw considering that this one weighs 1,406 pounds. Pretty sure no one's going anywhere with it, right? It's got a lot of little brothers, one at the Chicago Film Museum and one at the New York Museum of Natural History. Both of those are about 1,000-pounders. This one was found by Samuel Holsinger in 1911 out by Canyon Diablo. The name Diablo Iron kind of stuck, even though they found pieces later on, all around in a 7-mile radius. The basket piece downstairs is a piece from the strike, as is the one at Lowell Observatory. In fact, if you're ever in a museum and you hear that term Diablo Iron, it's talking about a meteorite from the strike. It's 92% iron, 7% nickel, 1% small amounts of other things including microscopic diamonds, platinum, iridium, and cobalt. Now we think that this one came to us from the asteroid belt out there between Mars and Jupiter, when some ancient collision drove it off its course and sent it hurtling down here towards Earth until Earth's gravity finally pulled it in. Because it made its way all the way down to Earth, it's called a meteorite. When it's traveling through the atmosphere, it's called a meteor. So if you've ever seen a shooting star, you've seen a meteor. Folks from the theater know most shooting stars are little, teeny tiny. Now, we think the dust situated from the asteroids would have been a really big fireball type shooting star. Has anyone here ever touched something down toward the Earth until Earth's gravity finally pulled it in? Because it made its way all the way down to Earth, it's called a meteorite. When it's traveling through the atmosphere, it's called a meteor. So if you've ever seen a shooting star, you've seen a meteor. Folks from the theater know most shooting stars are little, teeny, tiny specks of dust, superheated, but this would have been a really big fireball type shooting star. Has anyone here ever touched something from the asteroid belt before? Here's your chance. Come on up, touch it, rub it. Don't be shy. You know you want to. It's perfectly harmless unless it lands on your foot. And let me tell you a little bit about the hike so you can decide if it's for you. We do have 2 main requirements. We do require a fully enclosed shoe that both toe and heel have to be covered, and that's for your foot's protection because the trail is rocky and some of the rocks can be a little sharp. We do also ask for a 1-hour commitment. Once you're out the doors are locked. You're my captive audience for that hour. And there's no turning around unless, of course, it's an emergency. A couple of things to keep in mind. We're fairly high here. We're higher than Denver. 5,640 feet. So if you have any respiratory problems or heart problems, that's something to think about. Air might be a little thin. Also, the trail is rocky. That's why we ask for the fully enclosed shoe. You can see the beginning. There's folks coming back right here. So if you have any knee problems, hip problems, walking problems, or if you just don't like to walk on rocks, that's something to think about as well. Now, if you decide for any reason the trail is not for you, don't have the shoes, don't feel like hiking, it's just the crater's right up through the double doors over here. We have viewing platforms, telescopes that get into the crater with information plaques. Even if you join me on the tour, it's another wonderful way to see the crater when you come back. We're going to be starting right here at the Visitor Center, walking along at a moderate pace. We'll stop along the way, we'll talk about the history of the crater. We'll walk along some more, we'll stop, we'll talk about the geology, take a look at some fossils. days was his base of operation. During the mining days, there were people living and working in and around the crater. We saw some things they left behind. Another thing they left was an old root cellar. That's what that is back there. They cut it out of the mountain sides, about 12 feet, kind of like an early walk-in refrigerator where they kept the food nice and cool, even on the hottest days. We don't go back there now because the rocks are caving in. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And some animals have made it their home over there. We don't want to disturb them. But we already drank all the beer back there anyway. It doesn't really matter. This was Daniel Barriner's house. After he died and passed on to his family, they turned it into the first museum. It was run by Emma Joseph, one of the ranchers' wives. In the 1950s, they organized. It was running across the This was based on the abandoned. People knew it was here, and sometimes used it as a place to stay the night. And here we are at Picture Rock.
What's this?
This is the desert.
All right.
Well, I did the tour, looked at the museum, and now I'm just walking out to another lookout point for the crater. So I will show that to you when I get there.